It's time for TigerNet Talk with L. Swan.
You know, that's why Carolina's in Chapel Hill and USC's in California. And the university in this state always has been, always will be, Clemson. Print that, tweet that.
And I hope they come in undefeated. That's what I told you before the game. Our team believes. Our team believes. They got heart. We got greatness in us. They say we can't do it. What they say now?
Welcome back into another edition of TigerNet Talk. I'm your host, Lawton Swan. Glad to be here with you once again on a Wednesday evening, 9 o'clock. We really try to kick the show off right at 9 o'clock. Sometimes it can be a little bit more difficult. If you're taking part in the program and you're watching the show on Vocal, that's VOKLE.com, or on the front page of TigerNet, you may notice a little bit of a difference in the layout. There is a join button still, but they've moved it around a little bit. Vocal 2.0 has come in. In fact, we did Clemson Hotline on Sunday night. I believe that was the day they made the transition to this new medium. Just a little difference in the way they broadcast it. And I got to tell you, I have, if you're not aware, the #1 rated network on this platform. And I sent them an email immediately. I mean, right now I'm looking. On my screen, I see fairly crisp ClemsonSportsTalk.com, all the information scrolling at the bottom. But for you, I know that it does not look good. I see our main man, Bent Zero, Mike Bentley, checking in the chat room. Follow him on Twitter. He's a great guy. Not crisp, I know. No, it wouldn't matter, Bentley. You could be plugged right into the home studios, and it's not going to be looking good. I'm disappointed, but my man Shant is supposed to be working on it out there in California. They know there's some issue. They're going to get it pieced together, and we're going to get things back rolling the right way. On my end, though, crispy clean. On your end, it looks like I'm trying to run some kind of pixelation. But I apologize for that. The good news is most of the people who listen to the program probably don't do it live here on Vocal. Most of you, I think, download the podcast editions or check it out on TigerNet. And we always have a nice little write-up that goes along with it. Well, I hope you finally put the Florida State game behind you. I know it was a little bit painful. I know it's a little bit difficult to do, but that's the great thing about college football is that you can linger about that game for a long, long time if you want to, but eventually the next Saturday is going to come rolling around. Now, unfortunately, with the way things ended last year, you kind of had to hang on to that 70-33 loss to West Virginia for a while. You couldn't wait to get on the field against Auburn over in Atlanta just to be able to put that in the rearview mirror. Appreciate that, Mike. He says I have a face for radio anyway. I think you're right. I think most viewers agree. Especially at the rate my hair's falling out, I'm going to look a lot like I can't think of the guy's name over at ESPN. His logo is basically a bald head and some glasses. Is that Van Pelt? That's the direction I'm headed. I just need some faux glasses. But, you know, you finally got to put that game against West Virginia in the rear view over in Atlanta. And this weekend in Chestnut Hill up at Boston College, you'll get a chance to put that Florida State game in the rear view as well. And maybe, just maybe, you know, you look ahead to Florida State's schedule. It's not a daunting one. I mean, you could probably argue that their game against Virginia Tech on the road is the most difficult game they have in conference. I don't think anybody would say otherwise. But next week, they go to NC State, a team that in the past has been a little bit of a struggle for Florida State, and a team that I think has potential to maybe give the Seminoles a little bit, just a little bit, of a challenge in that game. It's going to be tough for them to drop two. And I think Dabo Swinney and some of the players said it best this week. We're still in the car, we're just not in the driver's seat. And the Atlantic Coast Conference, as I've noted to you in the past, has not had a team finish with only one loss overall since Maryland. It's been a long time, so the opportunity probably exists. Now, I want to tell you, I have been a little bit under the weather as of late. But you know what? I have an obligation to do the show for you guys. And that's what we're going to do. Out on Twitter, Tommy Chastain wants to know, is it vocal time? It is time to get vocal. Let me shoot that to him. That's one thing we try to do. We try to keep you all in the loop and on board with us. And I'm going to try and put that out to the world as well on Twitter if we can figure it out. If not, retweet it for us. I'm just trying to put that out for everybody as we continue to roll along. And I don't know why I put I'm at Lawton Swan, because I am not. I am at Clemson Sports on Twitter. Appreciate Mike and Nathan checking in with us. It's a long drive up to Boston, long flight up to Boston if you're going, but a venue where I think a lot of people really want to have that opportunity to go at some point. Now, the next time Clemson travels up to Boston College should be the 2014 season, unless something occurs with the scheduling, with the future of college football. You can never really tell if something's going to change. But I have been working with some hotels up there in that area, and I'll tell you this. We're going to try and have some promotions set up next time we go up there for you guys. That's what we want to do for you. But that's a while. You got 700 some odd days to think about it if you want to get involved there. Also, want to let you know, coming up at about 9:15, Joe Bostic, former Clemson Tiger, is going to join us here on the program. Joe's been involved with a little Clemson pick'em that I've had going on this year, and we're keeping up with it on the ClemsonSportsTalk.com website. We've got Joe Bostic, who you all know, Patrick Sapp, Woody Dantzler, and Richard Davis of Trademark Properties, big Clemson guy, also involved with us there. And we've just had some fun with that, the five of us kind of picking games and seeing how we do each week. Nothing against the spread. No, there's no gambling involved. This is just a couple of guys getting together and having a good time, spending a little bit of time together, picking games. But it's been a pretty fun thing to do, and these guys are pretty good. It's going to be tough competition for me to win it. I think last week I was tied at the top. So I'm crossing my fingers I can hold on to that. But let's put that Florida State game in the rear view. Let's do that right now. Let's don't even talk about it. We can't even focus on it. We can't control what happens from here on out except for on our end. And when you look at the remaining games, I know that there are many of you that feel very positive about the fact that this is a team that could run the table. And there's the other percent, probably the other 50% of you who say this is a team that could lose to everybody on the schedule. The possibility may exist for both. Boston College is not going to be a pushover this weekend. I think when you look at them offensively, they've had to change some things significantly, losing a guy like Montel Harris. We'll talk about Boston College in the final segment of the show, and we'll give you the PS3 prediction. The PS3 4-0 on the season. And the PS3 called for a Florida State blowout last week. PS3 said 48-21. We all know what happened. 49-37. And how do you feel when you think about the fact that this Clemson team, while giving up 49 points to a high-powered offense, was able to score 37 points against what was supposed to be one of the greatest defenses we've seen in a long, long time? And I said this on Clemson Hotline Sunday, and for those of you that missed it, the ironic thing for me was at the halftime of the Oregon-Arizona game, they go to the studio. I don't remember if it was Reese Davis or who. The question is posed, what did you take away from Clemson, Florida State? What did you take away from that game? And the answer was that Clemson is a really good offense. That Clemson is a really good offense. And I think there are a significant amount of people out there who believe that this offense is good enough to carry this defense. Taj Boyd called a players-only meeting on Monday. I think that's a healthy thing to have happen. You know, in the past couple of trips to the state of Florida, Clemson had their rear ends handed to them to some degree. And that game against Florida State may not have been as bad as we think. And there were a few plays in there. One, and I hate to get in the ifs and buts, one play in particular where Sammy Watkins is one-on-one with a middle linebacker late in the game before Florida State kind of took the lead and got control of that game. And there was what looked to be an interference, but it was not called. That was, I believe, on the first 3 and out of the night for Clemson. The other opportunity that didn't present itself because we came up just a little short, Sammy's kick return. He is tackled by the last man. It reminded me of Alabama's kick return. The Alabama kick return by C.J. Spiller. I mean, Sammy Watkins was about to pass the last line of defense with about 65 yards of green in front of him, and he was running full speed ahead. And I don't remember the kid's name, number 13 for Florida State, saved the day. He absolutely saved the day for Florida State, because if we return that kick, we go back up 14. Instead, we drove the ball down that drive. We did get a field goal to go up 10. We kicked off. They returned at 90 yards. They scored momentum. That's football. Sometimes you get wrapped up in the momentum of the game, and you get snowballed from it and just rolled over. And that's what happened at the Orange Bowl. That's what happened at Florida State. And I agree with those of you that say we don't have a great defense. I do agree there. But I don't think we have a terrible defense. I think Florida State's probably a pretty good offensive team. I think maybe some of us aren't giving Florida State the credit that they might deserve. But all in all, you move forward now. You throw that one away. You can't change what happened. You can look back at the moments that you maybe had a chance. I know my nephew said he looked over at his brother and said, "We've got our foot on their throats. Now all we have to do is step on it." And Clemson wasn't able to do it. And so you sit at 0-1 in conference play. A long season ahead of you, though. So don't fret just yet. We got the chat room rolling. I appreciate everybody being here. Click that join button. Come on in. Join us in the chat room on Vocal. After this break, we'll have Joe Bostic, former Clemson Tiger, with us right here on TigerNet Talk.
Sick him on a chicken and watch them feathers fly. Sick him on a chicken. Sick him on a chicken. Bring out the butter and the flour, we're ready to fry.
Enjoy the Clemson football season at Seasons by the Lake Restaurant. Tiger Tailgate on the Terrace at Seasons Restaurant will be held every Clemson football game day, rain or shine, home or away, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for those day games and noon to midnight for the evening kickoffs. Enjoy a large screen TV, a Bloody Mary and mimosa bar, specialty drinks, and a great tailgate menu, all on the Seasons Terrace. For more information, call 656-7444 or visit their Facebook page, facebook.com/seasonsbythelake. I hope to see you on the terrace.
We scoop the boot, dutycalls.com. When nobody else will do it, dutycalls.com. To make that dog poop go away, call or click for a free quote today.
When nature calls, we answer. To get a free quote for dog poop removal, go to dutycalls.com now.
DOODYCALLS. Dutycalls.com.
In the Midlands area, dial 1-800-DUTY-CALLS. They're number 1 and number 2. G-Dog General Dentistry at Oak Grove is located on Highway 1 near the Barnyard Flea Market. Modern, relaxing dentistry with TVs and headphones in every room, nitrous and even oral sedation. Digital diagnostic x-rays for better quality and 85% less radiation exposure. And check out their new Clemson Patient Special. Mention that you heard about G-Dog here on the Clemson Sports Talk programs and receive an extra 5% off all services through football season. If you don't have a regular dentist, go see my dentist, Dr. Rick Jackson at G-Dog. That's General Dentistry at Oak Grove. Are you a landowner who owns more than 10 acres that's interested in selling timber or pulpwood off your property? Cross Creek Timber is a full-service timber procurement company that buys standing saw timber and pulpwood. They're staffed with professional licensed foresters and fully insured with both workers' comp and general liability insurance. Let Cross Creek Timber develop the appropriate harvesting plan for your property and answer any questions regarding forest management. Call today, 864-517-3620. That's 864-517-3620 for your free woodland evaluation, or visit www.crosscreektimber.com.
Clemson Tigers, we coming for you.
Yeah. That's how we do it, baby. It's a tailgate party. Y'all better come on. It's going down.
We about to back it on up in the parking lot. Got the beer on ice and the grill is hot. On your market.
Welcome back into TigerNet Talk, Clemson Tiger fans, and it is a treat for me to invite this former Clemson Tiger into the program. Many of you will remember the name. He and his brother both played for the Clemson Tigers. That's right. We've got Joe Bostic on the line with us. Joe, welcome into TigerNet Talk.
It is good to be your guest. I hope you are doing well.
Thank you very much. Well, Joe, Clemson Tiger fans remember the Bostic name. I think when you look back over the history of Clemson Tiger football, there's just a couple of brother combinations that people really remember, the Perry brothers and the Bostic brothers. What's that like to maybe have a little bit of a legacy at Clemson University alongside your brother?
Well, it was neat. I mean, it's just a neat opportunity just for me to play at Clemson, and then to have my brother come in after me, and we both played together and started 2 years beside one another. It was just a real treat, and and it also ensured that mom and dad would get to see us play every game instead of having to switch up weekends for kids that were at different schools. So it worked out great for us, and it was just wonderful to play at Clemson. I just had a tremendous time there. I grew up in North Carolina. Didn't know a lot about Clemson, but it was, I made a wise decision, and it really was a treat to play there.
Now, you talk about the time that you're at school at Clemson. You come out the 1979 year. That's leading up to some of the greatest years that Clemson ever experienced. And you guys had a couple of tough seasons there early on in your career, but built that foundation that led to some of the best times Clemson fans have ever had. What does that mean to you to know that you're kind of the foundation for that?
Well, it was neat. I played for Red Parker for 2 years, and my first 2 years there we won 5 games. And then Charlie Pell was elevated from assistant coach to head coach, brought Danny Ford in and a number of other coaches. So, we went from winning 5 games the first 2 years to winning 19 games the second 2 years. And it was really neat. We ended up 6th in the country. We were 11-1 in 1978. It was just a good time, and a lot of turnaround, a lot of hard work. It was so neat to go to Clemson because they had not been to a bowl game since 1959. And in 77, we went to the Gator Bowl. And, people, you get, what's that, 18-year span not going to a bowl game. They were real excited about going to a bowl game. And, as players, we just felt very, very, very appreciated. And, it was just a lot of fun, and and us guys now we get together sometimes. We feel like we did kind of get the first 2 steps going on a real decade or two of real good football at Clemson University.
Now, when you talk about Clemson University back then, I think a lot of people right now are looking at this team. They're looking at the defense, and they think back to the days that you were playing, and I kind of equate some of the defensive stuff that we've seen to a change in the game. But I'd like to get your perspective on it. Is it more so that the offenses have really evolved, or is this just a product of maybe Clemson not having the best guys on the defensive side right now?
Well, I think it's both. I think that if you look all across the spectrum, and you're going to see the majority of teams in the NCAA are scoring more points, they're running faster offenses. And part of that scoring more points is people are running more plays. And but I think also it's a I went down to Florida State last weekend. We've had in the last 5 games, 6 games, or whatever it is, we've had 2 of the worst defensive exhibitions in Clemson University history. Gave up over 700 yards against West Virginia. I think it's 667 yards against Florida State. It's just almost baffling to me to have a team with so much talent on one side and to be so inept on the other side. It's unbelievable to me.
Well, being a guy who played on the offensive line, what do you think about the job that this Clemson Tiger offense has done this year establishing the run, especially short yardage situations, something that really they struggled with in the past? But Chad Morris went out to Nevada, as we all are well aware, studied that pistol formation. What do you think about what you've seen so far for Clemson in the short yardage game?
Oh, I've been very impressed with those guys up front. My brother and I, we went down to the Georgia Dome that first game, and, after about the first quarter, I looked at him, he looked at me, and I said, you know what? I don't know if these guys were as good of football players as the offensive line they had last year. I like watching them play a lot more. Because these kids are feisty. These kids, to me, just watching them play, the kind of guys, if you went in the bar room, you ain't got to worry about looking behind you and see if anybody's behind you. I think these cats are going to roll up their sleeves and get after it. I was very impressed watching those kids play.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, it was a big surprise for people to see them in game 1 when you talk about that Auburn defensive front from the SEC, the way they seemingly at times pushed Auburn around was very impressive. Now, as you
they're physical kids. I mean, that's what I like about them. They're physical. They're down there. You know, they got a little bit of chippiness about them. They're downfield. They're hitting people. I mean, I've been very impressed with these young kids.
Now, you come out of Clemson. You're a third-round draft pick. You play for, I believe at first it was the St. Louis Cardinals, and then moved out to Phoenix, which is now the Arizona Cardinals. What was that transition like to go from the collegiate level? Many times I've asked some of the guys that have come on here who have been able to be good enough at the collegiate level to go to the professional level, if that love of the game goes away because it's now a business, or do you still feel like maybe that young man playing peewee football out there just hitting somebody for the fun of it?
Well, the transition wasn't too bad. But it was different. I mean, it was totally different. Yeah, you get a paycheck, you don't have to go to school all day and all that, but pro football to me was not as much fun as college football. I mean, I enjoyed playing, but it was so much more of a business atmosphere. And the fans were quite a bit more cynical. Wasn't a good relationship between the owner and the fans in St. Louis, and that precipitated moving the team from St. Louis to Phoenix. And so, I just ended up playing on a lot of 5 and 11 football teams and a lot of rebuilding and wait till next year. When you do that for 11 years, it's kind of tough. And especially when you got a brother every 2 or 3 years going to the Super Bowl, and every time you come home, he's rubbing it in. So I enjoyed playing professional football, but I have fonder memories of my time at Clemson. I did play professional football.
That's the voice of Joe Bostic, former Clemson Tiger. And Joe, what is your relationship still with Coach Danny Ford?
I see him. I haven't seen him in a little bit, but it's a good relationship. I got a lot of respect for him. He is a wonderful football coach. Danny Ford really was instrumental in turning around Clemson football. I believe that. I think him and Charlie Pell have as much to do with that as any two people on the face of the earth. Danny had the opportunity to move on and be the head coach, and obviously, win a national championship, and had great years. Good person. Clemson University is a lot better off that Danny Ford left a shadow at Clemson University. And, I have a lot of respect for Danny.
What is your relationship with Dabo Swinney right now?
I know Dabo fairly well. I talked to him. I used to have his cell phone, and my wife kids me about this. I used to have a cell phone number on there, and I would get so frustrated that first year. I'd send him his text, and I just deleted his number out of my phone because it was just too tempting for me to send something like, "What the hell are you thinking about?"
Yeah.
I quit doing that. Because as a former player, I know how hard it is to win. I know how hard it is to make things happen. But what I've turned into is like a rabid Clemson fan. So I don't need coaches' phone numbers in my phone because I get ticked off and I say some things and I do some things because I care so much about Clemson University and the football program that I'll end up saying things that I regret when I wake up on Sunday morning.
Well, I think a lot of Clemson Nation probably wishes sometimes they did have the number, but I'm sure Dabo Swinney doesn't. He's probably got enough money to afford the text messages that he would get, but I'm not sure he'd want to see that bill. Well,
I hope he just would see my number or my name on there and just delete it before he ever read it. But, it's just – but that's what makes Clemson special is there's a lot of people that really care. And, and they're not lackadaisical. They're not the kind of fans that, well, we lost another game, no big deal, let's just move on. I mean, I think that's what makes Clemson unique and makes it a special place because there is a tremendous investment there. There are 80,000 people every week who go down there and spend their hard-earned money to support their Tigers. And, it's difficult to support a team if they're not, if they're not doing well. I mean, I'll never forget my first 2 years, 2-9 and 3-6-2. I mean, it was an embarrassment.
Yeah.
And thank goodness I had the opportunity to be on some really good teams and to kind of pay those patient fans back for the stuff they had to watch the first 2 years I was there.
Well, I had a chance to talk with Jim Stuckey about a year or so ago, and Jim said the one thing that he's really noticed about Dabo Swinney was that he felt like some of you former players were now more involved and in the loop in the program than maybe you were under former coach Tommy Bowden. Can you speak to that at all?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of that. I think that's true. I'll never forget Charlie Pelt when he was coaching us. You know, he just did not have any fear, you know, of other coaches, assistant coaches, or former players. I mean, he just welcomed everybody in because he knew that he was on. He needed everybody's support, and I think that's what Dabo's done, and I think it's a fantastic thing. You know, he played for Gene Stallings, who was my last professional coach.
Right.
And, if Gene Stallings says grace over Dabo Swinney, which he does, then I'm a big fan of his because I know that, you know, Gene Stallings is a good man, and he knows a good football coach, and he knows a good man because he's dealt with Dabo Swinney. And I think all the evidence is there that Dabo Swinney is a good man. He's a good football coach. He represents Clemson University exactly the way Clemson University wants to be represented, professionally and honorably.
That's the voice of Joe Bostic, former Clemson Tiger, spending some time with us here on TigerNet Talk. Joe, when I arrived at Clemson University, I'll date myself a little bit. I'm not that old. 1995, the facilities were not up to par with where the rest of the country was going. You look now, though, at the West End Zone, the impact that has on recruiting. I mean, would you say that there was a time frame that Clemson got maybe a little bit complacent with facilities and that now it appears that even though there are many people who will say that maybe we're not as invested as we need to be, that at least we've headed in the right direction?
Oh, yeah, we're definitely headed in the right direction. You know, the bittersweet curse of the 1981 national championship team, the national championship era, was that, hey, man, we've arrived, we're the best in the country. And I think either tacitly or intentionally, and I don't know, I'm not here to say one way or the other, but I think we got complacent. I think people sat around and, you know, and puffed their chest up and said, you know, hey, we got it going on. And for whatever reason, there was a period of time there, 10, 15 years, you know, that we weren't aggressive. We're kind of living off our laurels. And I think, you know, all through especially the latter part of the 90s, you know, we kind of started getting our butt handed to us. And I think collectively we said, you know, hey, we need to start doing things differently around here. And I think, I think Terry Don Phillips has done a good job in, you know, giving Clemson a vision and kind of enumerating things that we need to do that are going to attract five-star athletes to Clemson University. Because, you know, that's a huge part of it. You know, not necessarily the best athletes always are the biggest winners, but you give me one of those and the guy down the street from me, and if I'm a decent coach, then, you know, more than likely I'm going to be more successful than the guy down the street. It's not a you know, 100% tried and true scientific thing, but, you know, if you can handpick your guys, your likelihood of being successful is a lot higher.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Joe, final thing, we'll get you out of here. It's 10 quick questions. It's just what we like to call our Clemson 10. We give it to every former Clemson player that comes on board, and they're just, you know, you don't have to get too elaborate if you don't want to, but just would like to kind of find these 10 things how you guys who have played in the past there at Clemson relate in a lot of ways. First off, what does Clemson mean to you?
It's one of the greatest places I've ever been in my life. It's 4 years of just, you know, things that every time somebody said something about Clemson, my outside of my lips perk up. I'm smiling.
Describe the first time you ran down the hill on game day.
Scared to death. Thought I was going to fall down, and that hill, you know, people just don't realize that hill comes down, flattens out, and goes down again. And when you hit that flat part, it's just. I wish they would take us on a little trial run. So, okay, we're going to run down the hill today. Just get used to the hill. But it was kind of, you know, I didn't want to be one of those guys that fell down and tripped 30 guys behind me.
Yeah. Yeah, you never want to be the guy that hurts the quarterback in that regard, for sure.
No, but it's a very, it's. I'll tell you what, it's a very exciting thing too, though. When that Musburger says 25 seconds of the most exciting 25 seconds of college football, he's right.
Who's been the biggest influence on your life?
I would say Charlie Pell. I really love that man. He is just a wonderful man, wonderful person, wonderful mentor. He was a guy that when he came to Clemson, he was coaching defense. I was on the offense. But for some reason, he kind of, would pull me aside and say, you're going to be a hell of a ball player one day. And for whatever reason, I was kind of, it just, he said it to me and I believed it. And I think it helped me a lot.
Now, the campus has changed, but what was your favorite spot on campus?
Favorite spot on campus? Golly. That old barn where they had the ice cream thing at.
The P&A building.
That big. Yeah, it was an old something back in the day.
Okay.
You used to get the ice cream. I don't remember what it was. I remember just getting the ice cream.
Oh, yeah, it's good stuff. You're supposed to say the library for all the kids that listen, right?
Well, it was the library.
Yeah, exactly. Your greatest moment, the greatest moment in the game during your time at Clemson?
Jerry Butler, Columbia, South Carolina, 1977. Left-hand corner of the end zone. Jumped about 12 feet in the air and snagged the catch.
Your toughest moment in a Clemson uniform?
Same year, playing the University of Georgia, walking out of Sanford Stadium, losing 12-0, demoralized.
Your most difficult class that you took?
Had a thesis paper in RPA, which I don't think is called RPA now, it's tourism and something else, but it was a one-year class, and I had to write this paper that was like, 60 pages. Hell, I don't know if I'd ever even read 60 pages before that point in time.
Good point. The best stadium that you played in on the road?
College football?
Yes.
Georgia.
Now, you went to Notre Dame, right?
No, I was. That was in '79. My last year was '78.
Okay, so you didn't make the. So we hosted them your senior year.
Yeah, no, my junior year. We played them in '77 and '79.
Okay.
We lost to them 21-17. They won the national championship that year.
Okay, for some reason.
17-7 in the fourth quarter.
Okay, I was thinking those were back to back. I was surprised. I was thinking that might be the road venue that you said there. I didn't realize there was a year between those.
I didn't get to go. I was probably in Soldiers Field that week, or
that's not a bad venue.
Somewhere.
That's not a bad venue at all. One thing most Clemson people don't know about you.
I used to do crochet when I got mononucleosis, and I had a girlfriend down there, and she was into this doing crochet, and I felt like crap, and I used to do some of that while I was getting over that being sick.
That's intriguing. That's the strangest answer we've heard so far.
Not many people have taught me to do that.
No. If you'd have said ballet, I don't know.
This little sheet here, and sewing these little things. I don't even know if I'd even know how to do it anymore.
Well, this question is something that you've obviously had a little time to think about because the time has gone by a little bit. But a lot of times we ask some of the guys who just finished their career in 10 years, what do you hope Clemson fans remember about you? But, go ahead and insert that into your life and where you are today. And what do you hope Clemson fans remember about you 10 years down the road?
I just hope they remember me, somewhat. I mean, I tried to play hard. I tried to do the best I could playing. But I'm just as proud of my relationship with Clemson University today. I mean, I've been successful in business. I've been a Heisman donor since the day they started that thing. I've given money. I've buy a box. I do whatever. So I'd like to be looked upon as a guy that took some stuff out of the program. I got a scholarship there. I got an education. I graduated from Clemson, but I've also put some stuff back in. And I'm just as proud about the stuff I put back in as I am about the stuff I took out.
Awesome. Awesome. Joe Bostic, appreciate your time.
Thank you for allowing me to be here, and I hope every Tiger fan's doing well. And we need to go up to Boston and kick some Eagles in the rear end.
I heard that, Joe. And I tell you what, you're doing great with the pick'em.
Yeah, we're doing all right. I hope my U.S. competition, I was glad to see that you and I agreed on things, so I can't lose any ground on you.
Yeah, I heard that. We'll see you. Thanks a lot, Joe. Take care.
Thank you so much for allowing me to be here.
All right, go Tigers. Joe Bostic, Clemson Tiger fans. Good stuff. Stay with us.
I wanted to be just like Jeff Davis when I grew up, tackling Seminoles and Bulldogs, playing football in the mud. So everybody sing Tiger Rag at the top of your lungs, and we'll party like it's 1981.
Blake Austin of South Carolina Farm Bureau is an insurance agent you can count on to meet all your needs. Home, auto, health, life, you name it, Blake's got you covered, and he can save you on your yearly rates. Call him now for a free quote, 803-259-5008. That's 803-259-5008. Or just go to ClemsonSportsTalk.com and click on the Farm Bureau logo to be connected to Blake. Do like I do and work with the best agent around, and you can tweet that. Take your business to the next level with innovative website design from Foodog Media. Foodog can handle all your web, graphic, and social media needs. Call them today, 843-864-9268. That's 843-864-9268. Mention this ad and receive 10% off of your website. Foodog is a Clemson-owned business. See their portfolio at www.foodogmedia.net. May the food be with you.
Hate the thought of shopping? All that hassle and can't find what you're looking for anyway? We understand. Retail stores make it difficult. Instead, try www.edistooutdoors.com. Edisto Outdoors features performance apparel and gear engineered for performance, comfort, and style. EdistoOutdoors.com. You'll enjoy the shopping and you'll enjoy the products. Great products from people who care.
G-Dog General Dentistry at Oak Grove is located on Highway 1 near the Barnyard Flea Market. Modern, relaxing dentistry with TVs and headphones in every room, nitrous and even oral sedation. Digital diagnostic x-rays for better quality and 85% less radiation exposure. And check out their new Clemson Patient Special. Mention that you heard about G-Dog here on the Clemson Sports Talk programs and receive an extra 5% off all services through football season. If you don't have a regular dentist, go see my dentist, Dr. Rick Jackson at G-Dog. That's General Dentistry at Oak Grove.
I thought I'd grow up and I'd settle down. There was 10,000 girls up in Tiger Town, and it was heaven.
Cody Webb bringing us back 4 years into 5. Appreciate everybody being here with us. Got a lot of guys in the chat room. That's the way to do it. You know, if I wasn't the guy broadcasting it, I was watching it, I'd be in the chat room because not only do they give you good questions and content, you know, those guys, they can take control of the show any moment. Tommy Chastain says he's hoping we can make a little clam chowder out of BC this week, but is really concerned about the secondary. Yeah, you're right. I think the good news, though, I mean, if there has to be a silver lining right here where we sit today, is that this is one of those games that the beginning of the season I told you is one where we have to believe as we go into it that this is going to be a game where we smash somebody in the mouth. And we talked about Taj Boyd pulling the guys in, reining everybody in, saying, hey, you know what? It's time to man up, go out there and play some serious football. And I went back and I've watched the tapes, and I'm not going to discuss it anymore because somebody said, Swan said he's not going to discuss it, and then he discussed it for 5 minutes. It's bad angles as much as it is bad tackling. Wrapping up way too high on guys, no leverage. And a lot of the secondary struggles have not just been in the downfield coverage, but in coming up to make plays. Now, some of that could be the speed of some of the teams, perhaps. But then you've got to buy into believing that Ball State and Furman have very fast running backs. And I'm not sure I'm buying into that. Angles, leverage, those are the key things that this team really needs to work on. The defensive line not getting much pressure hurts as well. I've been disappointed with the play that we've seen from Malachi Goodman and Corey Crawford. You know, we really haven't seen those two guys, those defensive ends, stand up. And I want to say this, too, and there's a point I put on TigerNet this week on the message board. And if you're not a member at TigerNet, go there. Go to TigerNet.com. There's a free login, but you can join if you want to post. Great forum. When you look back to when Tommy Bowden left, and there are 12 seniors, I believe, on this team this year. When Tommy Bowden was dismissed, left, retired, whatever you want to call it, in the middle of the season, Clemson had the number one safety in the country, Greg Popoloston, as a verbal commit at that time. Sam Montgomery was not committed to Clemson, but was, neck and neck with Clemson and some other programs. A couple of other guys who ended up going to South Carolina in the secondary. You get into that for a moment, and you start thinking about the gaping hole that we have in our senior class right now and what those two guys could have meant. The defensive line stud in Montgomery, a guy like Loston back there at the safety position. And you never know if they'd have played 3 years here, whatever, if they would have redshirted, whatever the circumstances ended up being. But obviously there is a reason that we've struggled a little bit in those positions in my mind. But don't forget, it wasn't that long ago that the wide receiving core was a struggle. 2010, coming out of that bowl game in Charlotte, people are like, okay, we really got to get the wide receiving core going. What did we do? We went out and fixed it. Linebackers were an issue. What did we do? We went out and recruited some great linebackers. And maybe they're not playing up to their level yet. Maybe Stephon Anthony isn't playing up to the level that you hoped. Maybe Tony Stewart hasn't gotten the minutes that you wish he would. Maybe you'd like to see a Latique Townsend out there being an influential guy. But I do think the pieces are coming together. And for those people, I actually had somebody tell me that they thought Brent Venables should be fired after the game at Florida State. Fired. You're not thinking logically. You've got to give this guy some time. I think we've got an offense that scares the heck out of a lot of teams. I think we've got a real opportunity with the games remaining. But I think you'll see the measure of this team when they go on the road. When you go into a game that you should win at Boston College, if you could put the throttle down, if you could go in there and put the throttle down and run up some points. The last time Clemson was there, 10 points were scored. That's the lowest amount of points scored in this series against Boston College since, I believe, back in the 1940s. Clemson's got to go in there with the mentality that this is our game, we're going to roll through, we're going to handle business. If you do that, you can feel much better about the remaining games on the schedule. You've got a real and I know you're going to say, well, Boston College is not that great. Chase Rettig has been accurate this year throwing the ball around. They've been forced to do it. This Boston College team, if they had Montel Harris, and I'm not sure, I know that Carlin Lamont Jr. was a big-time guy that they had at wide receiver. But I don't see any stats from him. I did not find out, and I tried to look to see if he was injured or if he got kicked off the team, and I just didn't hear about it. But I'm glad he's not there because that kid has a lot of ability. But all in all, you look at where we are right now, you got to feel pretty positive, to be honest with you. You have to feel positive about this team. The remaining game against South Carolina, though, is the real one that maybe scares you just a little bit because for the first time in a long time, for that opportunity for them to go to a 4-game winning streak, the fact that maybe your defense might be bad enough to make their offense, which, I'll tell you what, for a guy with a bad shoulder, Connor Shaw, 20 straight completions in that game against Missouri, going 20 or 21. But Missouri didn't cover anybody out of the backfield or tight end the whole game. But, is our defense inept enough, as I believe the term that was used by Joe Bostic just a minute ago, inept enough to make South Carolina's offense good enough to beat Clemson again, because you've got to admit they have a good defense. You have to, if you're a Clemson fan and you watch South Carolina play and you cannot recognize the physicality of that defense, how hard they hit people, the way they play the game, then you've got to take off those orange shaded glasses. You have to. In Columbia last year, you saw a team in Carolina who wanted it more. They flat out wanted it more. A fan base that wanted it more. And until Clemson fans recognize that, until Clemson fans realize that fact, and there are some of you that don't, we have to want it more than Carolina at this point. It may have taken 20 years, but being in the SEC has helped them. Maybe they have not surpassed us in your mind, but right now, defensively, they're a better ball club than us, and their defense is good enough to play against our offense, and our defense might be bad enough to play against their offense to where they could win the game. You saw it happen last year. You saw it happen last year. And that's a real feasible thing that could occur down the road on this schedule. And outside of that game, there may not be another loss on it. But like many of you, you could lose a lot too. It's going to be interesting to follow. I can trust me on that. But BC, Wake Forest, and Duke on the road have to be smash them in the mouth games. And Clemson fans do this. Pack up and go. Pack up and go. Britton Courtney wants to know, have my predictions changed? Well, I've only missed one game so far. I thought we would beat Florida State, but we didn't. We'll be back.
In my head, if I pointed it just we scoop the boot, dutycalls.com. When nobody else will do it, dutycalls.com. To make that dog poop go away, call or click for a free quote today.
When nature calls, we answer. To get a free quote for dog poop removal, go to dutycalls.com now.
DOODYCALLS. Dutycalls.com.
In the Midlands area, dial 1-800-DUTY-CALLS. They're number 1 and number 2. Enjoy the Clemson football season at Seasons by the Lake Restaurant. Tiger Tailgate on the Terrace at Seasons Restaurant will be held every Clemson football game day, rain or shine, home or away, from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. for those day games and noon to midnight for the evening kickoffs. Enjoy a large screen TV, a Bloody Mary and mimosa bar, specialty drinks, and a great tailgate menu, all on the Seasons Terrace. For more information, call 656-7444. or visit their Facebook page, facebook.com/Seasons by the Lake. I hope to see you on the terrace. Take your business to the next level with innovative website design from Foodog Media. Foodog can handle all your web, graphic, and social media needs. Call them today, 843-864-9268. That's 843-864-9268. 9268. Mention this ad and receive 10% off of your website. Foodog is a Clemson-owned business. See their portfolio at www.foodogmedia.net. May the food be with you. Blake Austin of South Carolina Farm Bureau is an insurance agent you can count on to meet all your needs. Home, auto, health, life, you name it, Blake's got you covered, and he can save you on your yearly rates. Call him now for a free quote. 803-259-5008. That's 803-259-5008. Or just go to ClemsonSportsTalk.com and click on the Farm Bureau logo to be connected to Blake. Do like I do and work with the best agent around, and you can tweet that. Hey there, Clemson Tiger fans. If you're interested in advertising with Clemson Podcasts, go to ClemsonPodcasts.com and click on the advertising link. And as always, go Tigers!
This is Clemson Tom, and you're listening to Clemson Sports Talk. So sit down and have you a cold one and listen to a true American.
I like driving down Clemson Boulevard.
All right, final segment of the show, the PS3 prediction, my prediction, a little bit of talk about Boston College, and, of course, don't forget Clemson Hotline Sunday night, 9 o'clock, your first chance to get back in the mix. Brenton says He recorded a prediction of 8-4 for the Tigers coming into the season, but feeling that we were going to lose to Auburn in Atlanta. I had Clemson winning this game. In fact, I'd have to look back over everything to remember exactly what my prediction was. I think I said 10-2. I thought maybe a loss at Virginia Tech, or excuse me, not at Virginia Tech, but against Virginia Tech, and a loss against, sadly, South Carolina. I think that was the two that I predicted at the beginning of the season, but I just don't have that note sitting here with me, and I talk so much about it. I like what Mike was thinking, though. 11-1 with a loss to FSU. I could deal with that. I think we could all live with that. Now, I tried during the break to figure out what happened to Colin Lamar Jr. This kid is an unbelievable talent. He sat out the 2012 season with an injury for Boston College. He was supposed to be a big target returning for them this year, but he has not made a catch this season. I haven't found anything about him being hurt or suspended. I don't know what happened to him. He is a great player, but he's not in the mix this Saturday. At least he hasn't been in the mix in any of the ball games previously. Chase Rettig, though, this season has had a fantastic year, statistically speaking, throwing for almost 1,000 yards already. 6 touchdowns, though, on the season, 1 interception. Now, this team had to replace, as I mentioned earlier, Montel Harris, who had the potential to be the Atlantic Coast Conference all-time leading rusher. He got hurt last year, then had some off-the-field issues and was dismissed from the team during the spring. So there were some question marks coming in, but those have been filled pretty good. Deuce Finch has come on board. His real name is Rolandan, I think. 25 carries, 109 yards, no touchdowns. And Andre Williams is leading the way for them with 36 carries. So they'll go with the dual running back combination there against Clemson. And you know that Boston College always brings the big hefties up front. If there's one thing they're good for every season is a good offensive line. The problem that they've had right now, and Coach Frank Spaziani, is one, the season that they had the previous couple of years have been very disappointing for that fan base, especially when you look at what happened there during Tom O'Brien's tenure and having a guy like Matt Ryan there and what that did for that program. They had their first losing season last year since 1998. So what did Spaziani do? Went out, got him a new offensive coordinator. Doug Martin from Kent State comes in. He's known to be a big quarterback guru. And you could see the numbers already for Chase Rettig improving, and I think you can attribute that to Doug Martin coming on board there. They've had great defenses in the past as well. Right now, their linebacker, they actually have a linebacker leading the country in tackles per game. Thank goodness Luke Cleckley isn't there playing for now the Carolina Panthers. That guy was a stud football player, and I'm glad to see him playing pretty well at Carolina. He had a play the other week, though, where he was a little bit out of position. But good pickup if you're a Panther fan. Put it that way. It's a good pickup if you're a Carolina Panther fan. All in all, though, you go up to Boston. The weather's going to be a little bit damp, a little bit dreary. 50 to 60 degree temperature. It's going to be cold. Going to be a bit cold. But I think that you get a real shot here to get things tuned back up. You look down the road, Georgia Tech coming into Death Valley, Clemson with an opportunity next weekend to extend their home winning streak to 10 games. I mean, we're talking with Joe Bostic. That's the type of stuff that used to happen back in the day. That's what used to go down at Clemson back in the day was 10-game winning streaks, just putting it on people at home. A real chance if you can win that ball game against Georgia Tech. And you got to like the fact that we've played ourselves into a situation. I know we've dropped in the polls to number 17, but you got to like the fact that we put ourselves in a situation to get some midday games. We're not getting all these noon kickoffs. I mean, you look ahead to the schedule, I'm guessing there might only be 2 or 3 noon games remaining. Probably Duke, probably Wake Forest. But no, Wake Forest, that's a Thursday, so scratch that. You may only have 1 noon game remaining on the schedule this season. Now, I know a lot of people are thankful for that. Kind of found a way to avoid a lot of those. We're going to head out to the phone lines real quick, though, here on TigerNet Talk. Welcome in, caller.
To let us know that you're not a voicemail system, so you need to press 4.
I'm not sure what that's about. I need to press something. I'm going to press hang up. I got to let her know I'm not a voicemail system, apparently. Appreciate her calling in. I see it coming in. Let's see if we can get that call pulled up. Not looking good right now. Caller, if you want to call us right back, we'll try and punch you through. I'm not sure what happened there. That may be just some of the way the system's working. We'll try and get to you before we get out of here. We'll give you the rundown, though, of the PS3 predictions sent to us by our main man, Sammy, not Watkins, O'Neal, who sends this to us each and every week, and we appreciate him doing that for us because it's a lot of hard work to put this together. Clemson travels up to Chestnut Hill in this one. Taj Boyd goes 20 of 29 for 228 yards and 4 touchdowns. Rushes the ball 14 times for 23 yards. Andre Ellington's 11 for 59, 11 carries, 59 yards. DJ Howard, 9 carries for 27 yards. Ellington with 4 catches out of the backfield for 57 yards and 2 touchdowns. Nuke Hopkins, 4 grabs for 28 yards. Jerron Brown, 4 catches, 45 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And Sammy Watkins still doesn't get in the end zone through the air in this one. Maybe he throws one. No, he doesn't throw one because Taj threw 4. But Sammy threw one last weekend against Florida State. He rushed one against Furman. Maybe he gets his first touchdown grab for real up at Boston College. PS3 prediction last week, that's the question. It was an FSU blowout, 48-21. This week, the PS3 looks to go to 5-0 on the season. Clemson, 28. Boston College, 3. So that's what we've got right now. Clemson, 28, Boston College, 3. For me, I think this is a game where Clemson can get a little bit back in tune. They can feel better about themselves. It's clearly a game that you've got an opportunity, I think, to get things going to some degree. We've got a phone call coming in, though. Let's try and punch it through. Hopefully, we won't have that voicemail issue occur this time. Caller, go ahead.
Congratulations, you won.
Yes. We won the PS3 game. That was an awkward moment, but not the most awkward that we've ever had here on the program. Appreciate everybody tuning in. 803-450-0086. You can call us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Again, I apologize for the vocal video. The good news is the YouTube channel will have the high, crispy quality video up in just a couple of hours. That's youtube.com/LSwanMedia. That's ELSWANN. It'll also be on ClemsonSportsTalk.com. And, of course, the podcast edition of the show will come out on TigerNet tomorrow with our little article. But for all of you who've been waiting around to hear our prediction on the game, I tell you this, it really is. I said it before, it's a bounce-back opportunity, a chance to get some things going before you get into a big game against Georgia Tech. I have no fear heading into this one. I've said from the beginning of the season, this is one of those games where you go in and dominate. If you're going to be a legitimate contender in college football for a national title at some point, road venues like BC, like Duke, they cannot be scary to you. I got Clemson going in there, putting up about 42 points against Boston College and giving up 17. So that's it. That's what I'm telling you. Clemson 42, Boston College 17. I think they're going to throw the ball around a little bit, but I think Clemson's going to be comfortable and prepared for this one and looking to get a little bit of that taste out of their mouth from Tallahassee. Till next time, see you on Sunday, 9 p.m., front page of TigerNet. I'm Lawton Swan signing off. Y'all take care now, and as always, go Tigers! All right, and I apologize for the people using the capital Y's. Let me end the YouTube video. See